All right, so we were talking about factoring trinomials just to kind of review a little bit of the vocabulary. So, what does a trinomial mean?
It has three.
Three terms, right? Okay. And when we were factoring trinomials, do you remember what our answer looked like? Just kind of the general thing we were going for. Our answer was always, I know it's been a while.
Did we write it down?
So what we're going to go over here today, so just go ahead and write down, basically all of our methods for factoring, we need to check for a GCF first.
You're like,
Okay. So here's our first example. All right, so on these, you need to check for a GCF first. Do not go straight to your answer. It won't work. Notice these all have a common factor of 2, right? 2 goes into all those. Make sure that is the greatest common factor. So you'd want to see, is there anything bigger than that? But obviously there can't be since this is only a 2. So the first thing we're going to do, factor out the GCF. Okay, so this is like what we did back at the beginning of the chapter. You're pulling out that greatest common factor of 2, divide it out of each term, and put what's left in the parentheses. Okay, so if I divide everything here by 2, I'm left with x squared, or a 1x squared if you want to put that there, plus 8x plus 15. Okay. And then I'm looking at what's left inside. That trinomial there, the x squared plus 8x plus 15, can still be factored more. Okay. That's where we're going to do like what we did last week or the week before. So that's what we're going to factor. So I'm going to go ahead and there put my 2 sets of parentheses. And what has to go here? They have to multiply to be the first thing, which is the x squared. So this has to be an x. And that has to be an x as well. Okay. Again, basically ignore the 2 for now. We're trying to factor this trinomial just like what we did before. So this is, you guys are going to have to remember a little bit. Now I need my 2 numbers that go here to multiply to be positive 15 and add to be 8. Okay, so you need 2 positive numbers.
5 and 3.
5 and 3 would multiply to be 15, add together to be 8. So these 2 sets of parentheses are going to be the factored form of this trinomial. Okay, they would multiply together to get this. Then you just have to bring the 2 down out front. That has to go with your final answer because I need to, that's what makes this equivalent to what I had to start with. Okay. So that is your entire answer. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything in that? It's the exact same thing that we were doing before, just factoring out a GCF first. Any questions? Okay. Okay. So again, everything today, check to see if there's a GCF first. Okay, and pretty much on your homework and all of these, there will be a GCF to start with. Again, something else to keep in mind, your GCF can be numbers or variables or both. Okay. So what do we have for a GCF here?
3.
3. And if you look at the variables, they have an x in common as well, right? Okay, so your GCF of all three terms is actually 3x. Okay, then put your parenthesis. Divide everything by 3x. Remember to subtract the exponents. Okay. So this is 1x squared.
She told me to.
Okay, back, where did we leave off? So we divided out our GCF at 3x, got 1x squared. We just need to do that for each term. So after that we have minus, what do we get there?
1x.
Yep, just 1x. Remember to subtract your exponents. They're going to go down by 1. And then 36 divided by 3 is 12, and the x's there just cancel. Okay. Is everybody good with that? Do we remember the subtracting exponents and how that works? So if you're dividing out an x, you get x to the second here, x to the first, and then no x. Okay, so now, same thing again. Basically, we're going to look at this trinomial here. And I need to factor that. So I would just go ahead and put your 2 parentheses. Okay. I know the first thing has to be x in each one because that's how we get the x squared. Okay. Then what am I looking for in these two numbers? What do they have to do?
Add up to 12.
No.
Add up to 1, no?
They have to add to be -1. What do they have to multiply to be?
12. 12.
Yeah, -12. And I always focus on this first because that tells me what the signs need to be. Okay? If they have to multiply to be -12, I already know what the signs are. Doesn't matter what this is. If they have to multiply to be -12, what signs do I need?
Negative, positive.
Yeah, I need 1 negative, 1 positive. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So think about things that multiply to be 12. Well, 1 and 12 isn't going to do it. 2 and 6 isn't going to do it. 3 and 4, one of them has to be negative, and I need them to add to be -1. So which one should be negative?
4.
Is everybody okay with that? So I have +3, -4. It doesn't matter which order I put those in, but you should be able to check. Those will multiply to be -12 and add to be -1. If you need to check them on your calculator, you can. What's the last thing I need for my final answer?
Put down 3x.
Yeah, bring this 3x down in front. And there we go. All right, I'm gonna go around and call in some people this time. What's our greatest common factor here?
Want me to answer it?
Sure. We'll go to the next
2.
person. Yep, 2. Is there any variables in common?
W.
Do they all have a W?
No.
Nope, so it's just 2. So then put your parentheses, and then we divide out the 2 and see what's left. Okay, so Scott, here in just a second, you can give me those. Okay, what are we left with, Scott?
W2 negative 13W plus 30.
Plus 30. Is everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And then I'm just going to put my parentheses down like that. Okay. So my first thing here needs to be W And then, can you tell me what do these two numbers have to multiply to be? What do my two numbers have to multiply to be? 30. What do they have to add to be?
15.
Okay. Got any idea what those would be?
3 and 10.
What do the signs have to be?
-3, -10.
Okay. -3 and -10. Does that work? -3 times -10 would be +30, and if I add them together, that's going to be -13. I will tell you guys real quick to be careful, especially when you have one of each, like a positive and a negative number. I saw a lot of people in the homework where it was one like, let's see if I can fit this up here. Minus 13x minus 30. Okay, I'm gonna erase this. You don't necessarily have to write this down, I just want to show this to you guys. Because this is -30, what would my signs have to be?
A negative and a positive.
A negative and a positive. I had a lot of people put, when they looked at this, they automatically thought 10 and 3, right? But watch what happens. If I put x minus 10 and x plus 3, that doesn't give you -13, does it? No. And I saw some people do that. Well, now that adds to be -13, but that doesn't multiply. That would multiply to be +30. Okay. 10 and 3 actually doesn't work there at all. You had to use -15 and +2. Okay. So just be careful, and if you need to, you can check to make sure that they work on a calculator. All right, this is going to be the last one here for notes today.
Are you going around and checking this?
Yep,
one?
I'll check this one.
I've seen some